After my alpha husband Lucas Wilson died, I became a widowed Omega living alone with his child. Alexander Wilson, the estranged older brother of Lucas who'd opposed our arranged marriage, suddenly moved into the apartment across from mine, offering me his alpha pheromones. Don't misunderstand. I'm simply preserving the Wilson family lineage. Yet during midnight embraces, I heard his true thoughts through our bond. That bastard got to stay in my Omega's womb this long. Lucky fuck. When will it be my turn to breed you properly? My alpha had died in a car crash. Since that day, I'd become a reclusive pregnant widower, and Omega's pheromone cravings intensified during pregnancy. Without my mate's scent, I spent days burrowed in nest like piles of Lucas old sweaters until my OB/GYN slid test results toward me. Critical hormone deficiencies. Where's your alpha? Does he realize withholding pheromones endangers both you and he's dead? I whispered. The exam room's clock ticks filled the silence. My condolences, Ben. But if you want to keep this baby, the doctor hesitated. Is there any living relative? A brother perhaps? I twisted my sleeve. No. The lie burned my tongue. Everyone knew Alexander Wilson, the true Wilson heir, had openly opposed our marriage. At Lucas' funeral, Alex stood apart under a black umbrella, murmuring to the headstone things like inheritance and mine that made my skin crawl. He'd made clear I wasn't welcome to any part of the estate. Now as I fumbled for my apartment key, a familiar sandalwood scent froze me. Large hands covered mine. Retrieving the key. Let me. Morning sickness churned as the baby kicked excitedly, this child who'd never known its father's touch, now reacting to his uncle's pheromones. Alex studied my trembling hands. We're neighbors now. It's normal to help. His calm demeanor mocked my panic. When I flinched from his lingering touch, he smirked. Why so nervous, Ben? The childhood nickname no one had used since Lucas died hung between us, heavy with unspoken claims. Unconscious alpha pheromones emanated from his body, overwhelmingly potent, quickly soothing the restless movements of the child in my womb. It seemed to mock me. Luke's scent wasn't unique after all. This man before me was a superior substitute. I averted my gaze. The baby's not used to strangers. Is that so? Alex's eyes dropped to my swollen abdomen where a usually active child now lay unnervingly still. The faintest smile touched his lips. Yet I sense our little one responds quite favorably to me. His piercing gaze met my guilty expression through the lenses of his glasses. The resemblance between his pheromones and Luke's was uncanny. Just this faint echo threatened to unravel me, my body trembling with the primal urge to submit. I fled to my room, slamming the door against the intoxicating scent still clinging to my clothes. Curled on the sofa, I clutched the cashmere sweater Luke had last worn. Even unwashed, his fading cedar scent had been overtaken by Alex's sharper aroma. The baby stirred angrily at this deprivation, violent kicks forcing me to the bathroom where I retched until my vision blurred. Stop this, I pleaded to my reflection, hands pressed against rebellious movements beneath my skin. He's not your father. But the child raged on, tiny feet punishing my womb until dampness spread between my thighs. My resistance crumbled with each weakening whiff of pheromones lingering in the fibers. The sound of a door clicking open across the hall shattered my trance. Before courage failed, I called out, "Mr. Wilson!" Alex froze mid-motion, keys dangling from long fingers. When he turned, his expression revealed nothing. Yes? Heat flooded my cheeks as I lifted my maternity shirt, exposing stretched skin. The baby's outgrown my clothes. New ones won't arrive until tomorrow. My fingers twisted the fabric nervously. Could I borrow something? His breathing hitched as dark eyes tracked the movement of my hands. After an eternity, he nodded, clutching the borrowed sweater to my chest. I surrendered to the primal need. In the safety of darkness, trembling fingers sought desperate relief while imagining features so cruelly similar to Luke's. Luke, The choked whimper escaped before I could stop it. Pregnancy aches melted under fresh alpha pheromones. Exhaustion gave way to dangerous comfort. My treacherous body arched into the sweater's embrace. Mind clouding with forbidden fantasies. The child stilled at last. Sated by the stolen imitation of paternal care. Somewhere across the hall, Alex pressed his forehead against our shared wall, listening to every stifled cry. The hunter's smile returned as he inhaled the sweet distress permeating his borrowed garment. I uncomfortably tugged at the shirt in my arms when something rolled out of the fabric, tumbling into the corner where it lay quietly on the carpet, emitting faint red glimmers. Unaware of this, I felt like I'd been trapped in an endless dream, reliving those feverish days entangled with Luke. Dazedly lifting my face, I tried to focus on kissing those longed-for features inches away, only to meet Alex's bottomless glacial stare instead. The shock jolted me awake, fingertips slick with moisture as I slid down against the carpet, staring blankly at the stains spreading across cotton. Ruined, my numb mind supplied, blushing crimson to my earlobes. I vowed Alex must never discover what I'd done with his clothing, frantically scrubbing the damp spot at the sink until only soap residue and faint omega pheromones remained. I repeated the motions until my fingers wrinkled. The next day, I rang his doorbell. Alex answered in loungewear, his usual composure slightly softened by sleep-tinged eyes that held traces of something darker. Avoiding his gaze, I thrust the folded shirt forward. "Mr. Wilson. I accidentally stained this while cooking. I washed it," each word scorched my tongue. "Please don't notice the nearly faded patch I'd scrubbed raw." Alex's gaze lingered on the garment, pupils expanding like ink spills. "It's fine." Relief flooded me. He hadn't noticed. "Then I'll go." I fled, door slamming behind me. The moment my apartment closed, Alex's controlled mask cracked, fingering the precisely folded crease over the weakened fabric. He snorted. "Can't even lie properly." His phone illuminated the dim room. Surveillance footage looping, Ben's capillaries visible through pale skin as damp hair clung to his bloodless lips. Alex crushed the shirt against his face, inhaling residual exhaustion pheromones laced with omega arousal. His Adam's apple bobbed, shadows concealing dilated pupils. Heavy breaths filled the silent room. Ruined again. The information scent dependency grew worse daily, though I kept borrowing Alex's clothes under pretense. The snow-laced pine scent soothed both me and the pup who'd begun treating his pheromones as paternal. When the doorbell chimed, I rushed barefoot expecting packages, only to find Alex holding nutritional supplements. "Dr. Ethan says you're undernourished with inadequate alpha pheromone exposure." His gaze dropped to my stomach. "And you've been sleeping on the couch?" Guiltily staring at my toes, I bit my tongue. The truth, that the pup now recognized his pheromones as father's, would expose everything. "I use inhibitors." Alex strode past me, sweeping my nest of blankets off the couch. "No one told you pregnancy inhibitors heighten omega dependency?" He set down the supplements, eyes glinting dangerously. How could I not know? The pup kicked excitedly at his proximity, complicating the lie further. "Of course I know. But there's no other choice." When Alex's alpha pheromones emerged that day, my omega body reacted like parched earth welcoming rain. I couldn't control myself, nearly going into heat right then. He retrieved a fresh blanket from the cabinet. "I'll watch over you. Don't sleep on the couch anymore." I wanted to refuse but found no valid reason. Alex lifted his gaze, his tone brooking no argument. "Don't overthink it. I'm simply safeguarding the Wilson family legacy. With Luke gone, it's only fitting I inherit his child." Naturally, inheriting his brother's wife as part of the package seemed appropriate too, though he wouldn't voice this thought aloud, not wanting to startle the skittish rabbit still trembling in his grasp. Chastened, I lowered my eyes. Perhaps due to pregnancy hormones, an inexplicable melancholy washed over me. Wordlessly clutching the blanket, I settled onto the bed. With Alex present, the couch became unnecessary. Sometime during the night, the alpha who'd been sleeping on the sofa migrated to the bed. His large frame pressed against my back. Palms splayed possessively over my soft abdomen. Was he sleepwalking? My heartbeat thundered as I froze in place, instinctively curling tighter within his deceptively tender embrace. His unique alpha scent threatened to drown my senses. That's when I heard it. Lucky little bastard. Camping out in my omega's womb this long. Panic surged. Where had that voice come from? I struggled instinctively, but Alex's arm became an iron band around me. Sensing my agitation, he frowned slightly, his alpha gland releasing calming pheromones. Had I imagined it? I glanced sideways at his night-shrouded profile, the aristocratic nose. The stern mouth softened in sleep. Exhaustion from sleepless nights must be playing tricks. Nestling deeper into his warmth, I drifted off, the baby's unusual stillness granting temporary peace. Unbeknownst to me, the moment my breathing evened out, Alex's eyes snapped open. He observed the omega curled protectively around her abdomen like a hedgehog, then prodded the sweet-smelling bundle in his arms. Open up. Let me see. Ben nuzzled sleepily against his palm. Omega instincts compelling obedience even in slumber. Dissatisfied with this half-hearted compliance, Alex growled low. This paltry bribe won't suffice. His mouth crashed down, tongue forcing entry. Ben whimpered, teeth grazing alpha lips in drowsy resistance before surrendering to the skilled assault. The omega's muffled protests melted into breathless Alex. Beneath his palm, the previously quiet occupant stirred. Alex's mouth curved against swollen lips. Good girl. His finger drew lazy circles over the rounded belly. Recognition of true parentage deserved proper reward. Morning revealed split lips and mysterious red marks trailing across neck and body. The breakfast aroma wafting from the kitchen did little to rouse my appetite. Alex brought steaming dishes, but I merely picked at them, the night's events clinging like phantom touches. Alex Wilson didn't say anything, simply making a call. Have my documents delivered to Mr. Ben Clark's residence. After hanging up without waiting for a response, he settled in as if this were natural. Was he really moving in? Something felt off, but I couldn't pinpoint it. Swallowing my unease, I asked, "Aren't you going to the office?" Alex removed his gold-rimmed glasses. Gaze frosty. The Wilson heirs are coddled from birth. None would tolerate their unborn child suffering from hormonal deficiencies. His eyes dropped to my stomach. If the pup can't endure it, I will. His words struck a chord. Luke had always been carefree, clearly sheltered from hardship. I'd never been the ideal omega parent. The baby kicked gently, as though consoling me. When the secretary arrived with file boxes, Luke's old study became Alex's makeshift office. Fear of him lingered since our first meeting years ago, when I'd nervously called him Big Brother alongside Luke. He'd snapped coldly, addressed me as Mr. Wilson. After fainting at the funeral and learning of my pregnancy, Alex never sought me out. Now I tiptoed around his workspace, flipping unread books before retreating to Nestle outside his door. My genius hideout, a pile of borrowed sweaters forming a cozy den, kept me undetected until warmth lulled me to sleep. I awoke disoriented. Someone spooning seafood congee into my mouth while tucking an Afghan around me. Papers littered the desk, my foggy brain barely registering the firm surface beneath me. Thanks, I mumbled. The towering alpha pressed lips to my forehead. Good boy. Alex proved less intimidating than expected. He respected my wariness and AO boundaries, often substituting his scent-soaked clothes for physical presence. Nightly sleepwalking to his bed became routine, though he never overstepped, odd, considering the phantom whispers only I heard. Wife smells divine in my arms. Clever little brother, training your omega as bait. Caught you stealing my sweater to read against today. Sweet thing. Replaced more of Luke's clothes. My scent seeped into your pores, the whole city'll know you're mine. My wife. My child. How did these taunts know about the sweater I'd hidden in the bathroom? I peeked at sleeping Alex. Certain the voice lived only in my head. Weeks of house arrest left me stir-crazy. Please. I begged during his post-shower moment, towel slung low. Water dripping as I burrowed into his couch. He froze. Pupils dilating crimson. Voice gravel rough. Do you even realize what you're doing? Darling? The term of endearment hung between us. Forbidden and electric. My eyes reddened. Let me out. You have to let me go. Alexander Wilson lowered his head and suddenly sank his teeth into my collarbone. I shoved at his chest with a muffled sob. But he remained immovable until blood welled from the bite. When I finally stumbled back, Alex picked up his discarded shirt from the couch, casually wiping blood from his lips with the fabric. I'll sleep in the study tonight. He straightened up, pausing imperceptibly with his back turned to me. We'll go out tomorrow. True to his word, Alex had his secretary arrive with a gleaming limited edition sports car the next morning. I settled into the back seat, finding a comfortable position before tentatively offering, "Brother." "Don't call me that." Alex cut me off, his voice frigid. "Oh, Mr. Wilson," I corrected. The alpha fidgeted with an unlit cigarette between his fingers, the paper wrapper crinkling under his restless touch. "Use sir," though confused by the distinction between formal titles. I complied. "Sir." A barely there hum of approval escaped his pursed lips as we drove toward the outskirts. The collision happened suddenly, an out-of-control truck swerving across the centerline. Alex reacted instantly, unbuckling to throw himself over my pregnant form as metal screamed and glass exploded. We tumbled through shattered wreckage, his arms cradling my swollen abdomen even as asphalt tore through his skin. Panic surged through me when I saw the crimson tide soaking his shirt, ripping fabric from my own clothes. I pressed makeshift bandages to his forehead, our lips accidentally brushing during the frantic movements. Alex seized my wrist. "Stay still." Before I could react, his mouth crashed against mine in a desperate, blood-tinged kiss that left us both trembling. "I can't, Luke Wood," I choked out, shoving him away with all my strength. This time, weakened by blood loss, Alex didn't resist. Stumbling through the wreckage, I finally noticed the jagged bone protruding from my calf, leaning against a fractured highway barrier. I dialed emergency services with shaking hands. "There's a critically injured alpha at Riverside Trail. Please bring Omega safe analgesics." My palm settled on the frantic fluttering beneath my ribs. "Hang on, little one. Your sire might not know you exist, but I'll make sure you see this world." From the ICU waiting room, I watched through glass walls as machines breathed for Alex. My temporary cast clunked against hospital chairs while Ethan, Luke's childhood friend, appeared with thermoses of homemade soup. "Eat up, Ben." Ethan's smile softened as he nodded toward my rounded silhouette. "Looks like the Wilson air's growing strong." His hand hovered near my stomach, the gesture lingering a beat too long. Unfortunately, the little brat played favorites, recognizing Alex but not Ethan. He kicked in protest from within the womb. Ethan looked awkward, retracting his hand to rub the tip of his nose. "Ben, I need to discuss something serious with you." His expression turned solemn as he pulled a photograph from his coat. Police investigation revealed the other collision vehicle was empty, but this symbol was left behind. When Luke died, the same symbol was found on the opposing vehicle. My breath caught. "You're saying the crash was intentional?" Ethan nodded grimly. "Yes." Fists clenching, I demanded, "Who would do this? Does Alex know about this?" When Ethan confirmed with another nod, my chest tightened. Alex had known all along, known his brother's death was suspicious, yet kept it from me. Why? Didn't he realize he nearly died this time too? Ethan warned quietly. Ben, if you were to get into another accident while with Alex, who'd be most vulnerable? My hands instinctively cradled my abdomen. The child. The child that would quietly disappear, letting Alex rightfully inherit everything from his brother, including me. Suddenly, Alex's lingering gazes made sense. Not hatred nor indifference, it was an alpha assessing his omega. That symbol I'd seen in his study. Everything clicked. Alex had killed his brother. Didn't want his brother's heir surviving either. But I needed confirmation from Alex himself. Ethan left his contact without pressing further. Call me if anything happens. Ben. 5 days later. Alex awoke in the hospital. Surprise flickered across his face upon seeing me, though his lips twitched faintly. Thought that kiss would have scared you off. These past days, perfect chance to run. I stared at my shoes. I don't scare that easily. His chuckle dissolved into pained coughing. How's our little treasure? I avoided his gaze, burying turmoil beneath calm. He's behaving. Back home, I prepared bland congee he barely touched. When he pulled me close, hunger darkening his eyes, his gaze dropped to my stomach. Abruptly, he tucked me under blankets. Rest early. That night, I heard it again, Alex's distinctive voice resonating in my mind, though his lips never moved. Can't wait for this one to vacate so I can claim what's mine. Should have been my seed growing there. I had no proof these thoughts were his, and no strength left to confront him. He doesn't love my child. He just wants to impregnate me here as soon as possible. I have to leave him, or both me and the baby will. Cold sweat drenched me, but I kept my eyes shut, not daring to move a muscle. Only when night fell did I finally slip out of Alex's arms. Grabbing my phone, I dialed, "Hello. Is this Ethan Miller? You said I could reach out if needed. Does that still stand?" Ethan, a former Special Forces operative with sharp counter-surveillance skills, easily helped me escape right under Alex's nose. We rented a studio apartment near the suburbs, planning to stay until the baby arrived. I'd only managed to grab a few of Alex's clothes in my rush. Ethan arranged them into a makeshift nest, soothing my restless nights. His care was impeccable, somehow anticipating every need of a pregnant omega. A single whimper from me, and he'd already have what I required. But soon, the same problem resurfaced. The alpha pheromones clinging to the clothes were fading. Withdrawal hit hard, often leaving me drenched upon waking. In feverish dreams, Alex replaced Luke, our kisses burning through reality. The craving gnawed at me, yet Ethan could only watch helplessly. When I tried venturing out, he blocked the door. "Ben, it's dangerous. Wait until the baby comes." I agreed, but the little one grew restless. Constant midnight pacing and sleepless nights wore me down. One afternoon while Ethan was out, I slipped through the service exit, heading back to steal more clothes. The house stood dark and empty. Alex had likely moved out weeks ago. Kneeling before the closet, I rummaged until finding several oversized shirts. Pressing one against my aching belly brought instant relief. The baby kicked violently these days, but the fabric's residual scent calmed the storm. I gathered more shirts, ready to leave, when a glacial voice cut through the shadows. "Stay kneeling." My legs buckled at the familiar timbre. Turning, I met Alex's arctic gaze. His eyes dropped to my swollen abdomen. Expressionless. Panic surged. "Don't hurt my baby. Luke never knew about him. He's all I have left of my husband." Alex's hand settled gently on my bump, fingertips sparking tremors. "Why would I harm my treasure?" His voice softened dangerously. "Thank my dear late brother. His little keepsake will bind you to me forever." "No," I clenched trembling fists as his smile sharpened. "You'll never chain us." Seeing my resistance, Alex's face finally darkened. "What?" Because you're carrying someone else's child. You can't possibly like me. Is that it? He pressed an urgent kiss against my lips. Darling. I'm your treasure too. Let me in. My ears burned crimson as I tried twisting away. But he pinned me beneath him, teeth grazing my skin between kisses. Ben. If you want it, we could always make our own. Wait. I never agreed to this. But our little one did. Somehow we ended up tangled in bedsheets. Alex deftly removed his tie to blindfold me. He knew exactly where pregnancy had made me most vulnerable. His fingers moved with calculated slowness, leaving me shuddering and utterly disoriented. The mattress grew damp beneath us. He leaned down, breath hot against my ear. Let me guess, who are you waiting for? Too bad. If it's Ethan you want, he yanked off the silken restraint, looming over me. He's not coming tonight. I spent hours trying to pry Ethan's whereabouts from him. But Alex seemed allergic to hearing other alphas' names. Each mention only made him bite harder, kiss rougher, until my throat could no longer form coherent words. Yet the next morning, hoarse and furious, I found Ethan standing in our living room. Well? Alex crossed his arms. Should I explain? Or will you? Bewildered. I looked between them. Fine. Alex snorted. Luke's accident wasn't random. The Wilsons' old enemies targeted him. When I traced the evidence, I found this mark. His gaze dropped to my swollen abdomen, and realized why they'd strike again. I kept silent to protect Ben. You cornered them until they retaliated. Ethan spat. And you knew everything. Alex tilted his head. Yet you lied to your precious Ben. Like you're any better. Ethan's laugh turned bitter. You used that baby to trap him. True. Alex smirked. I'm despicable. But I won. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Also? I'm better in bed. Ethan stormed out, slamming the door. Meanwhile, my ruined throat earned me 2 weeks of mandated silence. Alex hired a sign language tutor as apology, only to spend evenings nibbling my fingers as I tried signing. Stop, you'll bruise me. He just cocked his head and kissed harder. The bastard couldn't read ASL to save his life. I was forced to tilt my head back, pale collarbones blooming with crimson marks. Tears streamed down my face as he licked them away, swallowing every drop. Baby. Don't you know, he murmured against my skin. The way you cry while signing with those trembling hands, that's the most potent aphrodisiac in existence. When spring came again, I gave birth to a beta boy. Before Luke entered this world, Alex and I made 3 ironclad rules. I'll stay with you. I'd insisted. But you must tell him you're not his biological father. Let him decide whether to call you dad when he's older. His first word ended up being uncle. The kindergarten teachers stifled giggles when I came to pick up Luke. His alpha father is so handsome, they whispered. I stopped correcting them after the 10th comment. Too tired to explain our complicated family tree. Still, I worried how Luke would process this. On his 5th birthday, I finally asked, would you like Uncle Alex to become your real? Before I could finish, the boy launched himself at the man descending the staircase. I knew it! Luke shrieked with glee. You're my real dad. Daddy! Alex caught him effortlessly. Obviously. Kiddo. Me? Playful moments aside, Luke inherited someone's terrible academic genes. When he brought home another 30% test score, I grabbed the rolling pin. The Wilson males shared telepathic eye contact. The child bolted while his father wrapped arms around my waist. Don't hit him. Ethan was exactly like this growing up. Alex reasoned, nuzzling my neck. But we could try for a smarter sibling to tutor him. Another child? To team up and destroy me completely? You get out too. The alpha retreated grinning. Yes, ma'am.